All right. Good evening once again. Welcome, all of you to Digital Zeal. So before we start, I would like to hear from those that have been with us. Where exactly we stop. I know I asked us to do something. I gave us an assignment. I don't know how many of us have done the assignment. How many of us have been able to type a letter? I think only one person posted in the. Okay. Now, are there any,
Good evening, sir.
good evening. Are there any,
Shall we?
okay, go ahead. Who is speaking? Please always call your name so that we'll know who is speaking.
Okay, IBK, sir.
Okay.
IBK, sir.
Yeah.
We talked about movements on pages. Then you gave us some example, like movement from last page to first page, movement from first page to last page, movement for a particular page. And after that, we moved to a particular new topic called document setup, where you give us the definition of document setup as the art or process of adjusting the default of a page setting in order to fit the page we are typing. Then another one we said that we should you give us three things to consider to document setup, which are page margins, page orientations. Page orientation we talked about, we explained it that two orientation that under page layout. You can see it under page layout. Is that we want to go for the portrait or the orientation for the under page layout. The page paper size, it can be A3, A4, but normally we are supposed to pick the A4 one because A4 is normal one that is good for us to set it. So that is where we stop that. Then you know, go ahead and give us an assignment.
What was the
I
assignment?
don't know if I'm audible, so if you can hear me very
Yes. What was the assignment?
okay. You ask we should type a letter, a formal letter carrying two addresses.
Okay.
And instead, then you're going to help us send it to the listening to briefing until I maybe the mother was not there again. So, and I said, okay, me have already done my own. I've already printed. I've already downloaded one that was typed before the last sent the one you sent. This afternoon. Uh,
All right. That is good. Thank you very much for that response. Okay, so I would just like to hear from Mrs. Wakuso. If she can unmute, I would like to find out if you attempted the assignments.
Will I answer?
Yeah, good evening, madam.
Good evening, sir.
Good
I
evening.
didn't see the assignment too.
Okay. Actually, somebody asked that was I think yesterday, and I replied that depending on when mine is going to come, you can actually lay your hand on. We have even English textbooks that have letter writing in them, so we can pick anyone and use it. I've replied
Okay.
that since before the young man now drew my attention to it. Okay,
Okay.
but so which means that you have not typed anything since. Did you type?
Yes, sir.
You type or you do not type?
I did not type, sir.
You have a laptop, right?
Yes, sir.
You have typed something now. That means you have a lot of assignment to after tonight's session.
Okay, sir. I'll do that over the weekend.
Okay. All right. So let's move on from where we stopped last time. Let me
yes,
switch
sir.
to okay. Emmanuel Power, you want to say something?
Yes, I type, but I save it on document.
Okay. Okay. Are you using your laptop to join this class? Emmanuel Power, are you using your laptop to join this session? Okay, we can hear me. So if you are using your laptop, I will have what you do is just snap it with your mobile phone, upload it to the group. Let us see it. Okay, so I actually asked us to go and type that letter just to prepare us for tonight's section. Remember what I told us then, that the beauty of learning data processing or word processing is when you are typing. If do not type throughout the period of learning Microsoft Word, one thing that I can assure you, which is your typing speed will not be encouraging. And again, you might just not learn anything. That is just the truth. Because most of these functions that we are talking about can only make sense when you see them solving challenges or problems during word processing, during typing. Okay, so that was the reason why I asked us to go and scratch the surface, because tonight's session is strictly on understanding basic and intermediate word processing commands. So let's take that as a topic, understanding word, that's understanding uh, basic and intermediate word processing command. So that is our focus tonight. That is our focus. Understanding basic slash intermediate word processing commands. So that is our focus tonight. And like I told us, advise that no one should miss tonight's class. In fact, any class from now till we end Microsoft Word, it's not advisable for you to miss it. Remember the advice I gave to us. So indirectly, we are not learning just one app, because most of these things that we are treating, they cut across other what office application, even outside. So long that app is a text editor, you will come across all these basic commands. You may not have them as rich the way Microsoft Word has them, but you will definitely come across one or two of them. All right. So statistics have shown from experience that individuals that break into technology, or that probably what enter into technology, that is computer, that took their time to understand Microsoft Word, they do better than every other person. The reason is that when it comes to software management, because there's no, almost 95% software, one way or the other, you will definitely type in. That is what you will process. All right. You can't go to the internet and go to Google now and start researching. That will not involve typing. So where do you think you will have learned how to be familiar with the keyboard? Where do you think you will have known the positioning of the keys within the keyboard? It is on Microsoft Word like this, because Microsoft Word will have make you to understand where the letters are within the keyboard. And it's that same keyboard that you are going to use if you are a website developer. It's that same keyboard you are going to use to write your code. If you are a data analyst, it's that same keyboard. So you will not see that those that do not go through Microsoft Word, that will have received that pressure of, typing fast. You see them, put them on any platform. You see them looking for where the pads are, or their typing speed are not always encouraging. All right. So what you are learning right now, I can tell you when it comes to software management is the foundation. So don't take it for granted. Make sure that you strive to know it. Very important. All right. Okay. So practically what we did last time was to set up. And I told us how important setting up your document is as a typist or word processor. Remember that we talk about three major features that makes up setting up your document. The whole of that exercise, I refer to it as the art of preparing your document. Now you know what I mean by document, right? Because when you open the Microsoft Word page like this, even though you have not imputed anything, it is still called document, not only when you have imputed information. The reason is that it's a document, but it has its own type, which is called blank document. So in other words, that blank document was created by Word in order for you to what? To impute your entries. So when you set it up, it determines how your work flows with it. And that is why you cannot say that until I've typed before I set up the document. Instead, you preset the document before you start your input. That was the reason why we spent that time in our last class. The video is there in case you are coming across this clip for the first time. Just go to YouTube at Digitech Zeal. You get the video there. I think I'm placing them in playlist, which means that you, at the end of the training, you should be able to probably have access to all of them there. Okay, so tonight, like I said, we are advancing to the most important aspect of Word. We are looking at understanding basic / intermediate word processing command. So generally, how do we define word processing command? These are tools, these are functions that are used to transform, to format, to change the appearance of your inputs. These are functions used to transform, to change the appearance of your entries or inputs. So you can see that definition shows that they are very important. So it is not what makes you a professional word editor or word processor. It's not your ability to impute information, just like I've done. It doesn't stop there. It's the ability to what? To transform it, to organize it. And you can only have that ability when you are conversant with this transformating command. So I actually classify them into three categories: the basic, the intermediate, and the advanced. So let's start with the basic. When I say basic, I'm talking about those very command, word transformating command, that before you type a letter or any document, you cannot avoid. No matter how small that document is, by the time you type like 4 lines document, you must have used one of them. That is what makes them basic. So we are going to be taking them one after the other. Example number one, let's start with what we call bold. Let's start with what we call bold. Now, you see, the way I am going to teach us this command is different from the way probably when you watch some videos, somebody will say bold is just for. I am going to be sharing scenarios where you are to use them. The reason is that, sorry, I'm using this for the staying in line. You know, there are some of us that claim that we know Jesus. But when cockroach run, or maybe when fly just cross your eyes, you see the way some persons will feel, the way they will be scared. Now, I've used that word to explain what I want to explain. What I'm actually talking about is this. There are some persons that know these commands, but when they reach challenge that require when to use bold surface, when they are typing, they don't know what to do. So they will look at the challenge. They know bold, that bold is for thickening the write-up. But when they are typing, they don't know exactly where they are supposed to use bold. At the end of the day, you will now discover that they are typists that do not understand the interpretation, the communication of their entries. You see, if somebody send a material, even reading textbooks, if I am reading a lecturer textbook without anybody telling me, provided that textbook was processed by a professional, that is somebody who knows how to process with electronic device like we are learning now. I am from the textbook, the way the person must have processed some words differently from others, that will make me to ponder and say, why is this text bolder than this text? The communication there is that it means that the lecturer is emphasizing on this particular word. So if I'm preparing for exam with that person's material, I already know where his questions will come from. But you see, people who are not electronic data processors, they don't understand it because it is difficult for you to represent all that I'm saying if you are using manual method, except you want to start staining or painting your document. But in terms of electronic word processing, it's very easy. So the point I'm driving here is that we should not just know bold to increase the thickness of what you type. We should also know when to use it. You should also know when to use it. That's why I use that illustration. They know their Bible, but when the enemy comes, they don't know the version to quote. Instead, they'll be scared. The same thing, somebody know bold, but when it's typing and it's okay, this is where we are supposed to use bold. They don't know. Now, that is the method I'm going to use for any command I'm going to teach us tonight. After we understand its function, I will be citing different occasion or scenario where you can use them to communicate within what you are typing. So bold is one of the basic word processing command used to increase the thickness of your entry. When I say entry, I'm talking about whatever you must have imputed, like this now. Now, the question is that where within my documents am I permitted to use bold? Peradventure, I use it. I need to understand the message I am passing. So that is the main thing, not just understanding the function. Now, your document has 3 sections, majorly. Every document you process, there's possibility of you having 3 parts. The first part is the main heading. The second part is the subheading. And the last part is the body. So the question is that these 3 aspects of document that I just mentioned, which of them require bold? I want somebody to unmute. Okay, let me not, so that there will not be too much noise. Okay, somebody should try.
The main heading.
The main head is qualified to use bold, right?
Yes, sir.
What about the subheading? What about the subheading? The subheading also require bold. But what is going to differentiate the main heading bold from the subheading bold is the size of the writing. So that is just that. Now let's look at the application. Let's look at the application. How do I apply the bold? Now, looking at this topic, understanding basic, it requires bold. So the one we call selection or to highlight. These are word processing terms. When I say highlight, what I'm simply saying is to tell the application where exactly you want the command to what transform. For example, if I feel that the keywords in this particular line is just what basic and intermediate processing. Now you see the way I highlighted it. How do you highlight? You place the cursor. Remember, we have covered that in the first class or thereabouts. That cursor, that icon blinking is called cursor. You must put it where you want to start your selection from. Why did I put it here? Because I want to highlight basic, intermediate, word processing. You can also put it here. Now, if I put it here, it means that I'm going to hold down the left button on it and to stop blinking and start what? Dragging it. And start dragging it until it covers the area I want. Then, using the shortcut, you can see it here once you highlight. But ordinarily, you go to Home tab and then under the group called fonts. Remember, I emphasize on understanding the font, and I also gave, the groups. And I also told us that when we start, just like we are doing right now, don't just focus on the outcome. Also look at where I am getting all this command from. Now you can see that I have to open Home so that you won't get later now, you want to do your own. You will now be looking for it under Insert. You have to go to what? Home. Then when you get to Home, you still need to pay attention to which of the section it can be located. So you need to pay attention to what? Font section. And then before you can identify which of the icon is representing it. So you click. What do you see? You can see that if I print this document and I give it to you to read, you will tell me that this word is more important than this and this. That's a communication. So as a reader, pay attention to this. That is what I am communicating as the data manipulator. So that's the direct way. Now, if I want to stop the bold effect, you must highlight it again since you have already applied it, and then go back to the Home and then click on the bold. So this is how you can bold. This is how you can remove it. All right. Now, supposing you have bolded and then you come to this place, you want to continue. Anything you type, you see that what is no longer taking that bold format. The reason is that there is a disconnection here. Even I don't have this. After this, let's say I type. You can see that what? The bold continue. Why? Because after the session you bolded, there is no other word that is disconnecting it with different appearance. So when it happens like this, what you are going to simply do is what? To type that particular word, or let me take it this way. Before you continue typing, without highlighting the part you have bolded, just go and click on that bold. You can see that what you have done right now is that you have dropped the initial format or appearance, and now you have fall back towards the default appearance. So if I type now, let's say what was there before, word processing command. So if I type now, it's not going to carry what? The bold. So you see, word processing with electronic device is about at some point picking some function, at some point dropping some function, at some point picking them again. That is why I'm showing you this, because it is possible that after command, you want the next word to be bolded. So what will you do at that point? You don't need to type it first before you go for the bolding. Just also turn it on and then type. You see that word, let's say, understanding basic / intermediate word processing command in Word, in MS Word. You can see that bold effect is what? Applied without me typing first and then going back. All right, in MS Word. In MS Word. All right, so now if I want to drop it, I will just click here. So that is the function of bold. So I just want to teach for the first 1 hour. The second hour, I am going to be typing a letter here. I have a letter here. I am going to be typing it while you are watching, and then you will see how I'll be correcting those mistakes. You will see how I'll be adjusting things that are not aligning. And then you pay attention. But I just want to quickly treat some of this command that I'm going to use while typing that letter. So we have sorted bold. Now, if I want to add the bold using shortcuts, you simply highlight if you have already typed, and then you hold down the control button and then press letter B on your keyboard. That is to bold. And then if you want to remove it, you highlight that same word, hold down the control B again, it will remove it. All right. Now, the reason why you can understand, why I would advise you to understand this basic word processing command shortcut, because at times you might be very far from where you are and you don't want to go back to the mouse, so that you go to home and click where you are. When you are in a hurry, you can just highlight and then what? Use the shortcut just to probably go for an interview and they are testing your typing speed. So if you know shortcut can save you time. That is just it. Now, somebody could be wondering, I'm using the mouse to highlight. How do I use the keyboard to highlight? Because you might be typing and all of a sudden the mouse can malfunction. Does it mean that you are not going to do some of those basic things the mouse does? So you can actually what? Try your best. You can try your best. Okay, so what you do is that you position the cursor where you want to start your selection from. Then you press down the shift button. The shift button, and then once you have pressed it down, then if you check very well, you are going to see by your right hand side arrow button, the 4 arrow. One is facing left, right, up, down. Once you are holding down the shift button, just in this case, I want to highlight towards my right hand side. So just be pressing. Meanwhile, you are still pressing down the shift button. So just be pressing it like this. You see, Now, the reason why this method is very important, some of them might be using mouse that is fluctuating. There are some mouse that will be shaking like this. And you are trying to highlight only maybe T and A. So it's not going to move that smoothly for you to be able to capture those two letters. So all you need to do is just for you to position the insertion pointer, hold down the shift with your keyboard. You can easily even select a letter. So they all have their advantages. I would like to hear from one person if the class is going well before I proceed.
Very well, sir. Excellently.
All right, thank you. Okay, so that is for bold. So I have defined what bold is, different occasion where you use it. Outside the main heading, you can actually use bold within the body. The reason is that if you are using bold within the body, it should be used to highlight only the keywords. Only the keywords, not the entire body. So bold is qualified to be used within the body of your document, but it should target only the word, the key words. Now let's take the next basic word processing command. The next one is font size. Font size. Font size. So how do we define font size? Now let me conceptualize it so that you understand it. Do you know that we all have different handwriting if we are to write on paper with Bible? And we also have different sizes. Some persons, when you give them foolscap sheets, by the time they write 5 lines, they have occupied the whole of what? The paper. While some, they can compress up to like 22 lines of write-up on one sheet of paper. What is happening there? One, two things are happening there. It's either they are giving excess intercharacter spacing. When I say intercharacter spacing, it's the space between basic and what? Understanding. It's called intercharacter spacing. So we mistakenly gave it double. The standard is 1, and that 1 is 0.5 inches. So every space between each of the word, the standard is that it should not exceed 0.1. So once it exceeds, you see MS Word with its own intelligence have found out there's error. So this error might not be spelling error. It's what? Grammatical error. It could be grammatical error or it could be space error. But what we are having right now is space error. Once it's sorted out, it disappears. Or the person is using what we call excess line spacing. Line spacing is the space between one line of your document and the other line, like the space between this line and this line. That is 1. All right. Then 3 is either the person is using too much size. Like the benchmark I gave to all the other time, the heading, the main heading, you shouldn't go beyond 20, 21, 22 as a font size. Like this now. I shouldn't use more than what? 20, maybe 22. That is the highest. You can see it's too big. You can see the amount of space it has taken. So it's better, since they are already in cap lock, capital letter, or uppercase, that uppercase ordinarily will have increased the size somehow. So you don't need to go for higher word sizes. All right. So now what I'm saying here is we're looking at the font size. So font size is very important. It is a command in Word used to determine the size of your writing. So that same command can reduce, it can also increase. So how do we use it to increase the application? Now, before we look at the application, let me also break it down how to use it. Remember, we are focusing on 2 things. What the command is, in fact, 3 things. What the command is, scenario to use it, and how to use it. There are 3 things we are learning for each of the command. All right, so that you'll not be the type of typist that you finish typing they will start correcting almost everything because you don't even have communication skill on the usage of those commands. So your document must have hierarchy. That is why I said there are 3 sections: the main heading, the subheading, the what? The body. On no occasion, the main heading size should be the same with what? The subheading size, and then the same with the main body. You must create hierarchy. If you are using 14 for the main heading, then the subheading can either use 11 or 10. Then the body can use 9. That is why you see that I said the main heading should go to 16. So by the time you take it to 2, main heading 16, subheading what? 14. Then the body what? 12. Is still within the what? The standard way of processing word that both the younger ones can see it clearly, the older people can see it clearly, because you need to factor all this, the consumers in mind. You don't just process to satisfy because you are seeing, because your eyes are sharp. So you don't consider order. No, that is not the professional practice. So you can see now, font is for increasing size, decreasing or increasing. Then when you are typing, maintain that hierarchy. So the application, how do we increase our font size? Supposing this is too big, how do I reduce it or how do I increase it? You highlight first. In fact, almost all the word processing command, you must highlight first if you have already typed, or you activate it depending on when you will type. So these are the 2 things you must understand. So which one is faster for you? You consider it. So after highlighting, then you come to Home tab. Then from Home tab, we are still within here, where you are currently seeing 12. You click on the drop down, you are going to see other word sizes. Now, let's say 14 is what I want to use. I increase. All right. Now, supposing I want to use 80, but as you can see, there's no 80 here. That does not mean that the highest font size one can use is 72. What it simply means is that the templates, the follow come, let me use that word, stop at 72. And when you see those 3 dots, means what? You can still, continue depending on how you want it. So, but this is the logic. If you want to use any font size that is not among this default list, what you do is that you drop here first. The moment you drop here, whatever number you have there will be highlighted. Just go ahead and type that number. Let's say what? 80. And when you type that 80, when you are imputing font size that is outside the default, for you to implement it, you must press enter, because you can only use your mouse pointer to pick here because they are there. If you are bringing the ones that are not pre-programmed there, then you have to press enter to what? To key it in. So if I want to use 90, I'll click here, type 90, then hit enter to apply it. If I want to even use 1000, if I want to use 1000, I can just type it, then press enter. Maybe only one part of one letter will take a page. And that has automatically forced our work into 61 word pages. So which means that the font size you use has a way of expanding the number of pages. So you consume. So let me go back to 17. Okay, so that is how to either increase or reduce the font size. Now, there are some shortcuts that you can use. You see these 2 commands. One says what? Increase font size. And you can see the shortcut attached there. Control plus Shift plus what? The greater than. We are coming to that. This one means to shrink. That is to decrease. So which means that after I have highlighted my entry, if I continue to click on this, it will continue to want to increase it. And as it's doing so, you see that what is also reflecting the actual size you are. Then if you continue clicking here, it will also continue reducing it. Now, if I want to use shortcut, you press down the control button, the shift button, and then you locate by your right hand side, you will see this sign and this other sign. This represents greater than, while this represents what? Less than. So once you have pressed down the control and shift, if you want to increase the font size, continue pressing the what? The greater than sign. If you want to reduce it, continue pressing the less than sign. So basically, you can see that word processing is made simple with electronic method. All right. So that is for that. Then the third one I'm looking at within my 1 hour before we go for the typing. The third one is fonts. So we have font size, and then we have just fonts. We have font size, and then we have fonts. What is the difference? Fonts is handwriting. Font size is the handwriting size. Simple as that. So here, so it means that every entry must first of all have a font before you determine the size of it. All right. So like this now, if I highlight it now, and then this is where you choose handwriting. Remember, this was the place we choose site. So we are supposed to choose this. All right. Though we have already chosen one by default, but in case maybe that one is not giving you what you want, you choose your font. So you can actually go through the available fonts due to the kind of document you are processing. If you are typing official document, there are some fonts individual use to or uses to process their CV. This has made them to lost some job, or they may not know. Because the person interviewing you knows that if you really know Microsoft Word very well, you shouldn't use fonts like this to type your letter. This can disqualify you. It shows that this person does not even know what he's doing. Are we talking about graphics here? That we need design. Who is he polishing this for? No, this person don't know company, no MS for. Maybe he just type. He does not even have an idea on how to use this. So a lot of people have missed a lot of job without, as in with just some of these things. Because you see, when the employer says that submit your letter in electronic process format, they want to know whether you know computer. Some of us will not carry it to business center. We'll not go to business center. We'll tell them, we'll pay them. They will help us to type it. And then when we now show up for interview, the business center man is no longer there. The way you type your CV has a way, the way it's organized, has a way of giving some clue to the person interviewing you that you are a computer person. Even if they are not taking you for computer job, the company knows that one day they will upgrade. And every company, when they are employing someone, they will look for somebody that can fit into tomorrow. Even though the person is not there, that should, in case the company get to a particular level and they want to switch, will this person be able to fit, or is this somebody that we can easily work on? Or, that is why you see some company, when they get to the point where they want to computerize their system, they lay off all the old staff. Probably they employ those staff based on what? Not skilled staff. And when they want to upgrade, they will now bring in new people. So when you are typing official letter, official document, talking about quotation, talking about a memo, though memo to an extent is still official, but it's within the organization. Information that is going out to another company. When you are typing them, I would recommend let me recommend 3 fonts you can use for writing letter. You can use Area, you can use Area Black, you can use Area Narrow, you can use Calibri, you can use Calibri Light. But please don't use Algeria. Some of us, they like Algeria. Don't use Algeria. Don't use all these fonts, all these fine ones. Except you are using Microsoft Word for graphic, because Microsoft Word can actually do little design. But that is not my focus for this training, even though I may end with it somehow. You have questions? Somebody want to ask a question?
Sir, please hold on. Sir,
Oh.
please hold on. Sir, what about time roman? Can we use time romans too?
Whether you can use
Sir, can we use time roman? Time roman.
Oh yes, you can use it. You can use it. I just focus on the first three that's most used, but you can use that. In fact, this is what you do. Anyone that has too much design, don't use it. As you are going, not that they are the only one you can use. You can use this one. Anyone that have design like this, don't use it. That's what I'm saying. Anyone that have design, don't use it once it is official letter or you are writing your CV. But every other one that look, good like this, because the idea is that, you are looking for the job. You are looking for the job, and the person, you are stressing the person to see what you type. The person with out of anger, this person not serious. You want to stress my eyes, and you don't even know whether the person has a eyes issue that using glass, and you are now using handwriting that he has to stress his eyes. We just throw away the TV to pick another person's own. But grace can still speak. After picking those people own, and maybe we cannot get what he's looking for, he will not go and pick that one and manage it. All right. So I believe, Wakoso, you have a question?
Yes, I have a question. So does it mean that all these people that are printing invitation card like wedding card, is it from here that they do design all those things, all those words?
Yeah, what they do, you see, that is what I was saying at the beginning. They use CorelDRAW, they use Photoshop, but you know what? Those applications still have word processing command, still have all these things. So there is a tool there that when they want to type, that they will activate, the tool will type like word for them.
Okay.
So those tools, that's why I said this is the root of anything word processing. Because even if you open CorelDRAW now, you will see all this command there. Once you pick that tool that you want to type, it will bring all this. So if you are the type that have not mastered them in Word, or maybe you just jump to go and learn graphic design, there have not been any time somebody explained to you bold, and you click on the tool there and it brings out bold, underline, you just be looking, what are all this for? All right, I hope I've answered your question so that I can proceed. So we have looked at what I'm still trying to do within my 1 hour.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We have to type letter together. Now, font. Now we understand fonts, right? We understand fonts. Now, this is where you change your fonts, the handwriting. So it's very simple. So if you have typed different letter, different documents, you must have reached that point whereby you have already know some certain font appearance. So once you need them, you don't need to be doing something like this. Let me see the appearance of this one. So those fonts that you have used often and often, you will have taken note of their name. So that when you come here, you just go straight, just pick it. All right, so let's take one more or two. I may explain the other one while I'm typing. The next one is underline. Underline. These are basic word processing command, underline. Now, as the word implies, underline is used to rule a line underneath the text, under the text, not crossing the text. We have the one that crosses the text where you want to cancel. But this one should not in any way cross any text. It should come immediately after the text. Now, where do we use this? Remember the code. We know what the command is, condition to use it, how to use it. Always remember these three aspects. Now, we have know what underline is. Where do we use it? You see, those main heading, those subheading, and some keywords within your body that bold could not bring out enough. You can bold it, You can bold it, but because of the general handwriting you are using, it's as if the handwriting you use has a little bit property of bold. So when you now bold, it's as if the bold is not bringing that particular keyword out. You add underline. Just like this now, maybe the bold is not let me just show us what I'm saying. Let's say I drop the bold. And now I come here and I bold this, just trying to make them to what? To differentiate it from other. And maybe this handwriting, naturally, it has touch of bold. It's sharp. So for that reason, it's not making this bold to stand out, that somebody can read when he get there or she get there. Oh, this word, let me just hold on. If the person was reading with certain speed, once you get to anywhere they bold a text, you drop your speed, you focus. This is the reason why some students pass exam, why some will read the whole material. How can you read the whole material, stock everything, say you cry, this person is getting mad. Oh. You know, there's some people that will tell me that, sir, how do you, only you teach cyber security, only you teach data analytics, yeah, and you are still inside. It's very simple. Don't cram, know it. It is when you cram that you can run mad. The brain self that you're even talking about, no matter how you use it, before you die self, you cannot even use more than 30%. That is what the scientist says. So how come you have used 99% that the brain is not running? The problem we have is that people don't learn things very well. So they end up cramming. And cramming is very dangerous. I don't cram anything in tech. I would rather stay there until I know it, until it enter. Because once it enter, it cannot leave. And then you create some time to practice it so that it will be solidified. No, you just learn one. You have not finished mastering that one. You jump into another one. Cybersecurity is raining. Everybody go there. Data analytics. You have not practiced any one for 6 months, not talk of 2 years. I just sold that idea to you so that you know that this is what is killing some persons, because I'm not just a trainer, I'm also a mentor. So that's why I'm giving all this advice. Don't make that mistake. Even if you have the millions of naira, you just finish cybersecurity. Say, oh, today AI automation, AI automation. You jump in there, and then you are now saying that I want to be like them, Mr. Prosper. This is my 21 years, or I've trained not less than 6,000 people in Nigeria. So imagine each model, there's no way, even if they wake me up from sleep, is already here based on experience. So if you want to be like me, like somebody where I went to today to go and train in one physical center, the man says, if there's a way you can open my brain, I just put the way you know it inside. I say, okay, are you ready to sacrifice for 21 years? He laughed. Can you stay true? You learn something that not fetch money. You guys that are learning now, you are enjoying, no? I can tell you that we just started making money, 5 years ago, where COVID-19. Before, no, tech was not even that valued. People were even begging people to come and learn. It's only people that have seen one job and they say this job will require computer. They are the one that always rush to come and beg us to learn. But today, now Shakara, what they do now? Because COVID-19 shot everybody. Everybody now know that, oh, technology is the way to go. So imagine these 21 years, if it had been this lucrative, maybe by now, I won't be teaching self. I will have been one big man that I will say, teaching is stressful. I beg, let me just mentor people at the top and then let them do the work. But you are lucky. By the time you spend 5 years from now, you must have even achieved, if possible, what we have achieved for 20 years, because now you have a lot of resources. Internet is full of resources, except you don't want to exploit. So underline, you must know when to use it. I've just pointed out where and where you can use it. The main heading, the subheading, the keywords within your document, you are permitted to use underline. I hope I'm still communicating. Can I hear from one person before we think of going to the typing session? Are we still together? Okay, thank you. I think somebody has Okay, so let me take one more, and then after this we'll go to the typing, because the typing will expose so many of them. I mean, even use beyond the ones, and that's the best way to learn. That's the best way. Is when you are typing, you are learning this small, you are learning this small, you are typing, and typing is exposing them. Then you are grabbing them. That's the best way. Now, the next one is text color. All these ones are still within basic. They have not even entered intermediate. Text color is used to change the color of your text. You see, by default, Microsoft Word or Office has programmed the document background to be white and the text to be black. That's a very good calculation, color calculation, because black can easily come out of white. So peradventure on your own now, you go to design. Let's say tomorrow now you go to design. You now go to page color. You now change it to red. You see that that black can no longer go again. That's the reason why you must know how to change for text color. Because if you have never come across a situation whereby somebody changed the background, you would think that it's only the black that can be used to write on the white background. See, I just change it now. Now, at this point now, what challenge am I facing? The red is overshadowing the what? The write-up. So which means that if I give this write-up to somebody, now the person is going to be doing like this. You make work easier for people. You don't make things. That is why you decided to use electronic device. You don't finish typing and somebody is struggling. There are some material that I would pick like this. They will just be stressing me to read. Because one, everything is scattered, not well arranged, no communication, no sequencing, everything is just, is that lecturer that is not killing the student that have brain. So now, look at it. You highlight. Where do we use the command? Where do we use the command? Where do we use the command? Please, IBK, those people that are having issue in that new data analytics class, just copy the link. Just copy the Zoom link and dump it there, because I only give them a Zoom ID and what is it called, passcode. Maybe that's why many of them don't know how to log in with that. Just let me copy the whole link and put it there. Those that can click on link, just click. Somebody is complaining there that I cannot log in there about. I think so. Let me confirm. Yes, I think yes. Just put it there for them. I don't know if you can hear me. Let me confirm if you have got to the information before I proceed. IBK. Are you helping me to do that? IBK, can you hear me? Maybe it's not here. So please, since it's not here, let me quickly sort it out for them, please. Where is your group self? Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think you have helped me out. Thank you.
Sir, I've done it already, sir.
Yes,
I
yes.
said it already.
Thank you. Thank you. God bless you. I've seen it.
I said it already, sir.
Yes. Okay. So, like I was saying, now, how do I change the color of this text? But before then, let's look at the scenario. What the command is for changing color of your writing. When can it be used? Where can I use this command? You see, CV get different grade. If you are writing a CV to apply for a job of 1.5 million per month, you will know that CV has different grades. That kind of job, you should not use black and white CV to submit. Because the employer will look at it. I've told them before that I've recruited for company when I was in Lagos. So I know criteria we use in disqualifying people. You cannot be searching for a job of 1.5 million, as in they have told you that the salary is 1.5, or you have an idea. And then you are bringing black and white CV. You know what the employer will be looking at is this. What the employer will be looking at is that this person cannot sacrifice cannot give me quality to collect my quality money. And again, this person has not managed money. You know, there are some job description that they don't want somebody who has not managed 100,000, because if they put them there, because they have not seen money before. So all these things are some things we need to check. So if you are processing a CV that has to do with color, maybe your name at the top, that is your name, or maybe some keywords, you use color to differentiate them. So how do we transform this write-up? Let me take the page background back to what? To the white. Let's say for one reason, I want this to stand out very well. So I'm going to use color to make it to stand out. So this is color. This is the text color. All right. Now, where you are filling your text with one color all through is called solid color. Now, though this word I want to show you now is not for official purpose, maybe just you are using Microsoft Word to do some designs. So when you click here now, you can now go to maybe the color you are looking for is not here. You go to more color. So more color will now bring you to where you have standard color and custom color. Standard color and custom color. So how do I use standard color? So you navigate to the area you want, you click, and then you see what? The new color and the old color. Then once you click OK, it will change to what? To the new color. That is for that. Now, another one is for custom color. You come here, you also point to the area you want, or you pick the color you want, and then click, and then it will also apply. The gradient is where you want to mix two solid color. One color all through is called solid. Missing two solid color. One solid color plus another solid color is equals to what? Gradient color. Those that are doing graphics will understand also. Now, this is gradient. Now, if you want any of this color, you pick it. But if you don't need this one, you go to more gradients, and that will give you a dialog box by your right-hand side here. So from here, you can now start controlling. You can come to what? Gradient fill. So once you select the gradient fill, you will now see this gradient what? Bar. So how do you combine it? This will allow you to what? To give your text multiple color. Like I said, this is not for official letter. Don't go and paint color. Just use only one color. But maybe you are doing some design. Fine. Or just learning for learning sake in case interview question comes on you that, okay, can MS Word be used for this simple design? You say, no, it's only CorelDRAW that they can use. You have failed. I can design Hamby perfectly with Microsoft Word, but that is not the priority. So now, how do I paint? You click on this color bar, and then you see the color bucket here. You choose. You see the way it's painted. Look at the appearance of the text. You can come to this edge, and then you pick another color, and then you see the what? The impact. And then you can double click. You can click on any one you want to remove. Click or remove here. I can say, okay, I just want two colors. Select this. I can say, okay, I want to add another one by clicking here. So you know how to add color bar, and you know how to what? Remove. Then you can adjust it. Look at it. How much of it you want on one side. How do you want to blend it? That is up to you. So when I get to graphic aspect, I'm going to explain that I don't want all this to take my time, because after all, they are not the priority. The one you should know is what? This one here. You know how to use color. All right. So if I want to call out a comprehensive version of all this font command, you hold down the control key and the shift and press letter F. And that will bring out what? A dialog box. What is a dialog box in computing? A dialog box is an interface that presents to you multiple options, out of which you can choose which one you want to use. So this is a dialog box. So all of this, most of these commands that are summarized here, this is the main place where they reside. But how come some of them are not here? Because those ones are considered not to be what? Basic. So I can highlight a text now, and say, okay, all of it should be in capital letter or small letter. That is KC. I can say all in what? Small letter. And then I click OK. That is if you highlight the whole of the text. All right, so you can come here. This is the command. You can say, okay, everything to what? Small letter. So I can use that shortcut, Control Shift and what? F. And then I will just come here. You can see that it's already on this. I can say all in capital letter. And then I click. You can see the way I'm controlling everything at once. But if I want to pick them one, because the advantage of this Control Shift F is that I can choose many things and throw them on the text at once. Look at this. I can choose what? 24. I can come here and choose bold. 2 command now at the same time. I can come here and choose what? Color. 3 command now. I can come here and say, okay, all in small letter. That is what? 4 command now. Then I apply everything at once. So instead of if the case is you want to apply them at once, then you can go there. But if you want to pick them one, then you use what? This particular session. So ladies and gentlemen, this is where the first phase of the training stop. So the second phase right now, we are going for 5 minutes break. And then after the 5 minutes break, may not take up to 5 minutes after the 5 minutes break. When I return, we are going to type a letter. I'm going to type official letter. So you'll be watching me. You will see how I'll be adjusting. You see how I'll be making use of some of these things, some of this command that I have explained. So see you in the next 3 to 4 minutes. Make sure that I do not go far. And then if you have persons you feel that should join, feel free. Those people that I give access to join, because this will also prepare them for the data analysis session, because these are the basic skills that they ought to have learned before going into data analysis properly. Because data analysis is an advanced program. Okay, so I'll be back soon. Continue. All right, so let's quickly look at how to process a letter, formal letter. Okay, so let me clear all this. So the first thing you need to do is to set up your paper to be A4, which is part of what we learned last time. So I'll go to layouts, choose my paper size to be A4, then check my margins, then use normal, and then your rulers are not active. So to activate the ruler, you go to view, and then you simply turn on what? The ruler that we have covered. There's need for your ruler to be active so that you can monitor the amount of margin space you are leaving. All right, so now to start with your letter, we all know the format of formal letter. There are 2 addresses that are involved. So there are different formats. There are some that you have the 2 address in one side, but let me just go with the conventional one. So let's say the company you are addressing, trying to see if I can. The company you are addressing, their address comes somewhere here as we used to sorry, this should be your address, I think so. Why the company you are addressing, to mind my diagram. And then probably the conclusion will be somewhere down. So where some persons usually have issue is how to have this block and how to have this block. So I'm going to use a technique that's going to make it easier for us. So let me take off this. So the address, that is the sender address, which is your address, the person writing the letter. That is meant to be at the right hand side. Should be typed here first. You see how I'll move everything down there. Why some persons will want to come here and start typing and then they will struggle. But this is what you do. Just type that particular address. So let's say it's company command international number 123. Let's say Alakwere. Then what will I put there? Let's say 15. So this will actually no, that's the dates. Let's say Alakwere, Lagos States. Nigeria. So let's say this is your address and it's supposed to be here. What you are going to do after typing this, you highlight the whole of the two lines. Now, you can see that the space here is single line spacing. All right, so we can actually compress it if we feel that we want to economize the space. You highlight it and go back to your home. And then you come to under paragraph, line spacing. You take it to what? 1 first, which is the list. So if that very word could not give you the space you are looking for, you go back and then you select what? Remove space after paragraph. And that will compress it for you. That is if you want to go that way. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do, how will I move everything to this side and still maintain this block? Now, you see this icon here is called what? Indents. Why this one at the top is also what? The first line indent and then what? So in other words, we can say this is the tab, this is indent. Now, what you should know about these two things, these two icons, they are different. If I move only this one now, you can see that what? I am moving the whole text now. Then make sure that you gauge it very well. All right. Now, let me take it by Ctrl Z. I'll move the down one. See what will happen. It will move, but you might have issue where you want to start typing. So now, though depending on the one that gives you what you want. Now, let's say I have gained the alignment. Now you come down here and click and press enter. That is, you have left the whole of that word section. Then you go back again and click on this and drag it back. That is a perfect way. So that has taken all those ones there. And then as you return, it will not bring them back. And then you have your cursor blinking on the next line. There, you now type the recipient address. Any questions? Somebody want to say something? Okay. So I believe you understand that logic. Can I get a response from Chris? Do you understand how I did that?
Sir, no, sir.
So let me take it again. Ctrl Z to return everything to this side. Now, you see, if you don't know the logic I'm using now, what you'll be doing is that you click here and be doing something like pressing the longest button and be doing like this, and you end up missing the alignment. So I don't want to miss that alignment. So I highlighted the 3 lines involved. And then I came towards to the ruler tab here. I click on this key that is locking both the up and the downwards indent. So click on it, hold down the left button and keep moving. Everything will move. Everything you highlighted at that moment will move. Now, once you have done that, you now come outside and press enter. Then you go back again to that tab and then you drag it back. So you have sorted that out. I believe it's clear now. The person that said no, you can unmute and reply if you understand it now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
let me type the recipient address now. Let's say this letter is going to one Mr. Prosper. Well, right? Let's say this person is a customer service. This is the unit you are actually transfer customer representative. Then we get 9847. It's 7 biggest streets. Right? Miami, Florida, 33111. Now, the first thing I want to we all know the standard when you are writing letter, places you have capital letter. So you can, if everything qualify, you can just highlight everything and then go to change case and then select what, capitalize what, each word. And that will make all of them, if they qualify, giving what, capital letter, or you manually do it. So now, why are we getting this red? This red, you can just right click and then you do auto correction, which means that anytime you use dots, which means you abbreviated a word, you must space before you continue. So what was the error before? There was no space after the dot. That was the error. So anytime you use punctuation mark, comma, full stop, you always space before you continue. So let me right click here and then check whether this is what I wanted to type. Then you can actually what? No, that is that didn't give me. That is not a grammatical error, so it's space error. Then this is not okay. Yeah, that's the correct one. Okay, so you can do the same here. Consider as a mistake here. You can just right click and do auto correct if, or you just space. Then here you can. This is not an English word, so you can just say ignore all. All right. So when you type a native word that is not an English word, and you want to maintain it, you simply say what? Ignore it, right? Even if that red line is there, once we are printing, it's not going to show. So just give me 1 second. So, check. Coming. Right. So so we are done with this. We are done with this. Then I'll come down and then the body of the letter. The body of the letter, I need to give 2-line spacing between the salutation and the words, the body. That is what I have to press the enter two times. That is here. Now between here and here is two line spacing. While here is half line space. Well, ideally you have used one line space. Then it means this one will want two line spacing. Now I can just write what dear Mr. Do. All right. So the same thing. Once you see that, always check whether something that can be fixed. You go down. Then you also give two line spacing between this and this. There should be a kind of reasonable allowance between this and the address and the body, right? Just to have very good presentation. So let me just start writing. Let's say I am writing. I just want you to see me writing, see how we are correcting things so that you can handle that yourself concerning the recent purchase of widgets, comma, approach you have question? 2 weeks ago. Approximately 2 weeks ago. This person have okay. On October 1, order a total of 50 widgets for company yeah the widgets clients web page. I receive an email. I receive an email notification 2 days later. Farming and shipment. So once as you are typing, you see anywhere you see red underline, don't overlook. Go and find out whether spelling error. If it's not spelling error, probably it's not an English word. What you do is that you just ignore it. But if you can find the alternative word, you just correct it. So the same thing. So the standard is that there are some persons that will type, and then when they are done typing, they will now start correcting. Why some, when they are typing and they see this error surfacing, they address them immediately. So the best practice is that if you are a professional already, you can just take your time to just type everything as you like, whether there's no enough space or maybe no standard space. Then when you are done typing, you now start from the top and start arranging, sorting things out. That is also good. But if you can type at the same time, you correct, fine. Right? So because of time, the body of the letter still continue, but the main thing I want us to understand is what I've already typed. So let me just say sincere. So I'll give double space here. Let's say Sam Brown Rice ink. Maybe the phone number of the person, and probably the email of the person. All right. So now let's just look at a few things before we round up the class. Now, looking at this letter, we can decide if we are going to print with color to give the whole of this address color just to make them stand out. That is if we are going to print with color. But if you are not going to print with color, then you can stay with the words, the black. Then the only thing is that you have to make them what? A border where necessary. So you have to determine the communication, whether you actually want them to focus on this or not. Now, since you can see this paper now, there's still a lot of space here. So when you type a letter like this, sometimes you look as if you have too much left space. So what do? You can just increase the line spacing of the body just to accommodate more of the space. So you can just highlight maybe between this body, then go to your home, then go to line spacing. You can just use something like this or something like this if it's okay. Don't let it be too much. So let me stay on this. And then the font size I'm using, that can also have a way of increasing it. So let me stay within 14. Now remember that this font size too have to improve because the distance is too much. So it's either this is 12. Let me just take this to. Then I may need to turn off. Let me see if it's better. I think letters are already good. Then the same thing here. Now, there is something that we call copying format of what you have already typed if you don't want to waste your time. Now, you can see that this is bolded with different size from this, but I want to give the appearance of this to this. Just in case maybe I don't want to start calculating which font size did I use. I can just copy one part of it or highlight it, then click on this format painter. So once you click, which means that you are extracting this, and then you now go to the section you want to apply it, you highlight it, then it will automatically what give it that format. But the challenge now, it return the alignment too. So remember what we did. You now manually what take it back. You now manually take it back. All right. Then here the same thing. You want to apply that same format here. So you just highlight again, click on format painting, And then you also come here, highlight it. Okay, so that's one way. Or like I was telling us, there might be keyword. If you read through this particular letter, you see that the writer is drawing the attention of the company to an incident that happened. So which means when the company is reading, they should pay attention to that session. And what is that session? I order a total, and then he said what? Let me read, approximately 2 weeks ago on October this, I order, maybe it's complaining that he has not gotten the, okay, let's say I received an email notification 2 days later confirming the receipt of what? Payment and the ship of what? The weekend. But meanwhile, the person has not received the goods, but he has gotten an email that shows that he has gotten an email that shows that the goods, the money has been acknowledged, but he is waiting to get the goods. So it's a complaint. Since it's a complaint, now that particular area that you want the attention to be drawn to, if you wish, as a professional word processor, you can say, okay, this is the area that you want them to pay attention to. This is where he's complained. But if they are too much, you can just stay on. Then I think weeks ago, because he's complaining that it's taking too long. So that is why I'm highlighting. So you can see the idea here is that you can see how I'm using the bold now. Remember when we were learning bold, I said that you either use it for the heading, that is main heading or subheading, or some keywords that you want to draw the attention of the reader to within the words, the body. So if I want their attention to also focus on this, then you can just what? Highlight it and bold it. So like I also pointed out, if you feel that after bolding a session, the general appearance is equivalent to, let's say the bold is not making any difference, then you can now say, okay, I want to italize it, you now slant it so that it will be more obvious. Why sometimes if that still don't bring it out, so okay, let me add underline. So there are times that only bold can do the job. There are times that you may have to apply 2 or 3 before the job can be done. So everything depends on your communication pattern. Everything you are typing, you should have a way of passing a message. So this is where we are going to stop in this session. Then in our next session, we will continue with this, but probably looking at the intermediate and probably some advanced. So like I told us that they will still have 2 to 3 classes on Word. So which means today is 1. So I'm very sure that the next class and the next class, I should be able to what? To teach us all that we need to know for you to be able to use Microsoft Word to work in an office. If you really practice very well, you don't need to go and say you want to learn it again. The only thing you could be doing is, well, maybe as new version comes in, you know, we have Office 20 this, 20 that. You just look at a few things that are different and then you move on. Okay, so let me see if I can put that in case I want to call it out next class. So any question, please? Any question, because we are rounding up. Any question, any question?
I noticed so when I'm typing the space in between each letter should be what's the official level to put the letters, the
Yes,
gap between each letters.
the official one should be 1 letter space. Sorry, 1 line space. Like here now it should be 1. But where the reason why I expanded it, because why I expanded it beyond that 1, look at where I changed it. It was 1 before, because I wanted it to spread because I have excess space left. You understand? So I just want the document to an extent to take up to 60% of the page so that not lose counting. But If you have like more information to type, you won't give as much as this. You would rather stick to what? One. One is the standard. I don't know if I've answered your questions.
Correct.
Any other question? Do we have any other questions? So our assignment, so that assignment that I gave to us, this time around, what we are going to do is that you should write the letter, as in draft the letter, write it as in on paper. Write a letter addressing it to write a letter addressing it to write a letter addressing it to Digitech Hub that you will not be available for the next 2 training, and you are applying that the video should be recorded and sent to you. So, or you can just pick a letter, right? You can choose anyone. It may not be that this very one. You can choose to write a permission letter to the place of work, asking them to grant you 2 weeks to travel to sort out 1 or 2 things. Then make sure that it is a formal letter. Then after you have written it, then you type it, right? So that you type it. Let me see how, because sometimes when you are typing what someone has already typed, you have already know where to put. So it's not as if you are doing the calculation yourself. But if you are typing a drafted document, then that is where we can test whether you know when to use both or not, or whether you just follow the person that type it forward because he used both, you use both, or you have your own calculation that led to the usage of the board. So I hope the assignment is clear. Please, let's take this assignment very serious. Even though we cannot do anything if you don't do it, but I just feel like you cannot spend 2 hours joining a class that is denying yourself other things you will have done, and then at the end of the day, when the class ends, you cannot, use the skill. It's of no use. So you need to make sure that you grab as much as possible. All right. So if there's no question, I appreciate those of us.
Sir,
Okay.
sorry,
I have a question, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
All of us that are using phone, we don't have a laptop. What should we do?
Okay, those that are using phone.
sir.
Okay.
Sir,
No, let me answer. I think let me just take. I'm coming to you. I'm on the power. Let me just quickly take. That is David Musa. If you don't have laptop, if you have a Gmail, if you have a Gmail, let me show you now. I think the perfect question. Let me show you. I'm going to my email now. Those of you that are joining with mobile phone and you want to practice all this, there are 2 options I want to give to you. Either you go to Google Play Store and download Microsoft Word. It's possible if you are using good Android phone, right? It works with laptop. Now, if I come here now, then the second option is that since you have Gmail, just go to Google Docs, and then you'll be able to type there and save it in your email that you can even access anywhere you go. So just go to your just log into your email. Let me see if I can log into. So once you are in your Gmail, just go to, where will I? Yeah, just once you are in your Gmail, just go to Doc, right? This is Excel. This is PowerPoint. All right, so just go to Doc like this. So you can practice everything we are learning. When we were opening MS Word then, I told you, you see the blank, these are those already made. So some persons, when they are even writing letter, they use Google Doc because you have some fantastic design there. So let's say you want a blank one, you click here, just like the way they selected what blank Microsoft, and then you start typing. I don't know if I've answered your question. This one you don't need to download. You don't need to download it. Just from your Gmail, click on Doc, then do your practice here. Right.
Thank you.
Welcome. So good night, everyone. To see you, and please continue to help us to share that data analytics session that is coming up on Monday. That session, if you are a business owner, you are a manager, you are a student that want to, data analytics is one of the top, I think, either second or first, still dragging with cybersecurity, right? Because all these basic now, the reason why you are learning them is for you to apply them in one specific professional aspect of that can fetch you money, because this one, they are like borrow skills that you must have so that you can do better. Because when you finish this now, I don't see you, going to business center to be typing from morning till night. And the whole of the typing you will type say cannot even fetch you reasonable amount of money and the stress. So you are learning this so that when you focus on a particular professional aspect, you will be able to work with the computer flexibly. So you can still join, those of you that are here, you can still join that data analytics. You find it because we want to just make it very cheap. If after that this section, and we have a lot of persons that show interest in learning the full program, then the number will determine. It may just be something that can easily be afforded. All right, but definitely just attending that session alone, there is something that you go home with, that even if you don't register yourself, at least where people are mentioning data analytics, you have an idea, right?
When, sir? When?
It will be on Monday, on Monday, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. I think so. I dropped the flyer in the group that you are in, but I will still keep giving more updates. So tell friends around you. That is the best way you can help us. Is refer people to us. That is just the best way you can help us. Thank you very much. God bless you. See you. Class.